focus on the forest promenade, the overpass, the street, the parking lot, and creating a walkable network for all those necessary activities that people use every day. These are the three typologies. I chose a more focused approach on these three rather than a larger application. So there's a lot of potential strategies to combat heat. These are just three that I chose based off the site itself and the conditions it was experiencing. So those are the typologies plopped into this plan. And you can see here the Main Street condition, the overpass condition, then the more residential condition, and then the parking lots condition connecting to the creek here. This is Skinny Street residential. Really what it proposes is a much skinnier street, evidently, and then a gravel pathway here, and then some water pumps. I'll get into that a bit more. Evapotranspiration happens. This helps produce evapotranspiration, latent heat deflecting the sun's rays. The Main Street, a little different. Rather than providing structural soil, this provides soil cells, but they're both all providing about 32 cubic meters of soil per tree, even though the spacing is much tighter. This is the overpass, just plopping it on an existing overpass, save costs, cantilevered system. I did not have an engineer for this, so I won't dive into it. And then a parking lot. This is the parking lot condition that I'll talk about a bit further, but really what we're trying to neutralize here is providing a canopy structure, providing immediate shade for the parking lot access. These are my tree teams. I can dive into them when we break, but really focusing on certain things like drought, soil, preferability, transpiration levels, and quick growth, as well as, of course, shade quality. So all the greens are trees that are doing a lot of work there, and then aesthetically, maybe some trees are punctured into the experience. And this is the different experiences for each tree, focused on the soils that I found. Lots of data. I'm going to move on. And this is my phasing proposal. So the test plots, right? So where do we start? These are the three sites I've decided to focus energy on because they're quick wins. They're immediate effects, and I'll dive into why. And that phasing of those quick win strategies that are the sites here lead to the forest promenade, and the forest promenade connects all these important services and these important facilities. And then the integration. This is when the site is being completely healed, the tissue is healed in about 2040, 2050. So yeah, site one, this is the Belvedere Care Home. There is 2 elementary schools here, and it's important to recognize this is such an important cluster of at-risk populations here that could potentially benefit from this intervention. So site one has a skinny street, a Booner type street, street closure, a Milwaukee forest, which then gets engaged with the program of students in the area. This is the site condition. So what if the community could help grow the street canopy? These are my guiding concepts: community raised canopy, water collection cisterns to feed these trees, as well as tighter spacing, continuous root networks, exposure to Mother Earth. This is a larger site. You can see that all these public buildings, you could actually capture that water, put it into cisterns, provide these water pumps that the community could then feed each tree on their own, and they each were responsible for a tree. This is the kind of the transparent water bag that could really indicate to people, okay, the tree is needing water. And then there's a certain soil mix that I can't dive too deep into, but the soil profile rebuilding, which proposes about 4 inches of compost mixed in with a backhoe, and reusing that soil that's there and mixing it out with the compost, then adding a layer of topsoil, and then adding some mulch in there. So it does all these dramatic effects to trees that grow faster, healthier, quicker. Current condition, this is the process of the soil rebuilding profile here. That I can dive into a bit further, but then the community is establishing the trees in the first 3 years. Milwaukee process is another kind of example, a different angle on the classroom program where the community densely packs all these pioneer species and helps grow them faster, quicker, and it becomes a fun experiment between both schools that each have their own plot. Here's a mud table. Kids can make their own door doggo balls if they want, or just play around with soil. Previous condition, new condition, water pumps there, and community is healthy, walking to the necessary activities. The second phase, site 2, abandoned parking lot. Well, it's not quite abandoned. There's some motorcycles doing their training, but there's no frontage needed, so you could actually close this off. Already some evidence of the parking wanting to be taken over. So it kind of gave me this idea. It's not unique by any means, but there is a stream right next to it. And what if all we need to do is just remove the impervious surfaces? Stop human access and let nature take care of the rest. Like no planting plan, just wall it off. Make it kind of like a zoo exhibit. Arrange the asphalt, water pooling, education opportunities on the side, birds and wind pollinate it, and plant it. So that phasing process, close it off. Provide a few strips for the future park to be opened in about 5 to 10 years, so that people can use it and be, happy in a cool environment. But let nature kind of grow it for us. And it's easy, it's cheap. First couple of years, 3-4 years down the road, there's just different plants showing up. And then further down here, this is the final site, the parking lot for the superstore that you guys heard about. Great site. There's a heron there overlooking the whole situation. Who's got an important habitat here that should be considered? And then there's peat that you guys all tried, was tested right here. So this whole layer of peat landscape could potentially be revealed and regenerated. Oh, that's a blank slide. But first and foremost, provide immediate shade relief with a trellis canopy. Informal market opportunities could happen. Reveal the original ecosystem of peat, and then use all the impervious surface, treat it before it enters the river, and really capture it and do that. So that kind of link that's really missing between these two for the habitat corridor, but also for humans that get through this area to get their food. It's such a shame because it's just a giant furnace right now. So that's the site. That's the giant trellis that I'm proposing. There's a future boardwalk, treatment for stormwater, and all the cars can still go to Superstore. So that's the current condition. There is some transpiration happening here, but it's just not being taken advantage of. Okay, let's add a trellis, get some shade in there, reduces about 33% of the temperature for people walking there at least. These are the types of plants, so the clematis and the trumpet vine, fast growing, different bloom times, it's great. And then finally, okay, you revealed it, you've made this wetland, peat is exposed and maybe regenerated, it's actually starting to build up layers again. And then you have key plants like Salix alba and the Vegetable nigra. That's just a vision of the site. That's just a detailed site-specific design for it. That's how it might look like. Markets, people, and a cool corridor getting your groceries. So those are the sites. And all together, they kind of form that starting point to grow that larger investment fund. So these are just investments, cheaper and quicker, and then you have this potential promenade being established. And I'm gonna finish it off with this little comic here of Russell just eating some cereal, about to go to school, and then, oh no, his water is in need of, his tree is in need of water, but he'll go water as he goes to school. My tree grew 10 centimeters. They're comparing, they're having fun with it, and they're personalizing their tree. And they're establishing the canopy that they're gonna potentially be beneficial of. So thank you.
Thank you.